Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the keynote address now. For this, I have pleasure in welcoming the chief guest, Mr. Debasish Panda, Chairperson IRDAI. Before Sir address us, may I have the honor of introducing Sir to you. Mr. Debasish Panda is an officer of Indian Administrative Service of 1987 batch of Uttar Pradesh cadre. His home state is Odisha. He joined as Chairman, Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority of India on 14th March 2022. Before joining IRDAI, Sir held the position of Secretary in the Department of Financial Services in the Ministry of Finance of the Indian Government, where Sir remained till his retirement on January 31st, 2022. Mr. Panda also served as Joint Secretary, Health and Family Welfare, Additional Secretary, and as Special Secretary, Financial Services in the Government of India. Since joining IRDAI, Sir has embarked upon a reform agenda with the objective of insurance for all by 2047 and has undertaken numerous measures towards this end. In addition to having triple master's degree in physics, environmental sciences, and development management, Sir has undertaken numerous international trainings in public administration in the United States of America and Philippines. With this short introduction, we request you, Sir, to kindly present the keynote address. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Sir with a round of applause.
So a very good morning to everyone. It gives me really immense pleasure to be part of the 18th Insurance Summit, which has been organized by the National Insurance Academy under the leadership of Mr. Srinivasan. I think the tone for this summit has already been set by the speakers, namely Mr. Srinivasan, Mr. Devesh Srivastava, Mr. Kumar, and Mr. Saurabh Mishra, who represents the government here also on this summit. I would like to, at this stage, extend my warm greetings to all the panelists, the industry leaders, the experts, and all the distinguished delegates present in this gathering. It's also interesting to note here that the academia and the industry are coming together today to discuss various issues, or rather the pressing issues of the insurance sector. And I'm sure at the end of the day, they will be coming up with a strategy. How do we go forward? It's all the more interesting and also required that the students today passing out from the NIA will be joining the industry at various levels in the coming times. So this summit actually also provides a platform for the young minds to understand the requirements of the sector and also to look at the sector with a new pair of lens. While I am with the young executives and the students who are ready to enter the sector, I would like to take this opportunity to throw open the challenge. And the challenge is, can we ensure that our country move towards risk cover? I mean, if I put it in other words, a fully insured society or insurance for all by 2047. This is the challenge I am throwing open to the students in particular, but to the entire industry and the other stakeholders who are present here or who are listening to us as we speak. If we look at, we have been here for more than 20 years in the sense that the sector was opened up, the regulator was created, and what have we done? If we really look back and see, it's time to ponder also, have we been able to give enough risk cover to all our citizens in our country? I think the answer will still be, we have miles to cover. The protection gap is huge, and I think it's around 83%, one of the highest. Around 40 crore people still lack the health protection insurance. If you look at the number of vehicles, more than 50% are uninsured. The home and property insurance covers are also not adequate. So how do we really move forward? And therefore, I would like to challenge the students who will pass out and join the industry. And I would say that the younger lot or the population, the reins are in your hands. You will have to think out of the box. come out with innovative solutions and approaches to move towards the goal of having a fully insured India. What do I mean by fully insured India? I would say the minimum that was required is that every individual is covered for his life, health, and assets. Each business should have an appropriate insurance solution. We also need to ensure that insurance is easily accessible, especially in the difficult terrains of our country, whether it's a hilly terrain or the northeastern provinces, calamity-prone regions where you see frequent natural calamities striking often, and the less penetrable areas. These are the challenges. How do we reach out to the population living in these areas? Then there is innovation in products which has to be done constantly as per the dynamic needs of the industry. There is a need for efficient and tech-based distribution channels. I think as students, as the academic institutions, whether it is NIA or the other institutions, they need to constantly work whether the channels are efficient, where is the problem, what do we do in order to make them more efficient. More of surveys, researchers should provide useful insights to all the stakeholders and particularly to the regulator and to the government so that the necessary course correction can be done. We have to ensure today wider choice of products as far as the policyholders are concerned. We need to have a very, very robust grievance management system. So the central focus always would remain on affordability, accessibility, awareness, and most importantly, the protection of the policyholder's interest. So the question, however, remains, how can we do it? Opportunities are huge, then why are we not able to tap them? See, one of the priorities under consideration for the India's presidency in G20 from 1st December 22 also includes tech-enabled development in areas ranging from health, agriculture, disaster risk reduction. So in this context, let us think, what role can we play from the insurance sector? Today, India is Digital India, pioneering in digital inclusion. More than 65 crore people have access to internet. And as you know, 8,840 crore digital transactions amounting to 3,200 lakh crores took place alone in the financial year 21-22. How can we, now the question is, how can we leverage the technology platform in the insurance space and in say the claim settlement process? Can we reduce the time taken for claim settlement into seconds? Can we think of providing healthcare solutions whereby insurers can facilitate a patient should be picked up from the home, the treatment is done seamlessly, and then after the treatment is completed, he is dropped back at his home. Then there are at least 2 phone calls, one going from the insurance company, the other going from the hospital or the service provider to inquire about how the person is faring. That is the kind of delight and the pleasure you will be offering. So how can these kind of systems brought into our scheme of things is the challenge. How can we use latest technology, AI, ML, smart contracts, blockchain? What is it that is stopping us to go that way? I would like to encourage all the young minds to think about it and question what more could be done to increase insurance penetration. And given the fact that the insurance penetration is still lagging behind the world average, the industry has been growing at around 11% CAGR in the last 5 years. Now the challenge or the question is, how can we grow at a faster pace? What more technological solutions can be deployed? How can we reach the last mile and ensure every person gets adequate coverage? The Honorable Prime Minister of India has been reiterating the fact that every person should be insured. And in all the insurance schemes, at least the flagship programs, the entire population should be saturated. So we all understand the importance of insurance, not alone as a financial protection tool, but also as a safety net, a social protection, and also how the insurance is also helping the growth of the economy. Today we are at an inflection point of our economy has shown great resilience despite the pandemic and the geopolitical changes and the situations that have been emerging. We are now the fifth largest economy, and our real GDP is expected to grow more than 7% against the global growth forecast of 2.9% for FY 22-23. Researchers and surveys show also that in the next few years, we are going to the fourth largest economy. So after the US, it will be China, and then China, Germany, and India. China, Japan, and India. So that also speaks so much about the potential of the Indian economy. And so why should we leave the insurance sector behind? That's the challenge I would like to throw to the students, to the entire industry, and the stakeholders who are present in today's summit to deliberate on this theme. Tell us what more needs to be done, both from the policy perspective, what the government needs to do, and from the regulation point of view, what the regulator needs to do. We are always open. We are always open to new ideas, innovative ideas, better solutions, technology, usage of data. All of this are going to change the face of insurance in the times to come. I want that this should be there in every scheme that you prepare or every strategy that you make. How do we leverage technology? How do we use data and provide the best solution to the customer at the end of the day? In 2022-23, the first quarter, the real GDP grew by about 13.5% year on year, surpassing the pre-pandemic level by 3.8%. The growth momentum is expected to continue in the near future, and India's nominal GDP is expected to grow by around 12% next year as well. So therefore, in terms of the potential, the following things comes to my mind. One, stable economy. Two, the large domestic consumer base. Three, the conducive environment for MSMEs. Four, the rising income level. Five, the lesser tapped semi-urban and rural markets. Eight, regulators and government both working towards providing ease of doing business. So I would say this is the golden opportunity for all of us. The insurance sector, currently the 10th largest, is also poised to become the 6th largest. Are we ready to tap the opportunity? If not, I think today we should make ourselves ready to tap this opportunity. India will also be one of the main drivers of global insurance industry growth over the next decade. It's estimated to grow at an average of 9% per annum in real terms, stronger than 7.5% annual average of 2015 to 2021. Non-life penetration is below the global average. Growth will be driven by the demand for health covers. People have actually become more aware after the COVID-19, and there is a strong government support in the form of Ayushman Bharat. And of course, compulsory motor third-party insurance primarily will be driven by the expansion of the middle class. Life insurance sector, more developed. It is near the global average, but the protection gap is huge. How do we take care of this protection gap? How fast can we close it? Under insurance, as most of the products are saving linked with smaller protection element, again has a huge scope and opportunity. Today's insurance market is a mature market. Now, being aware of the present market dynamics, we are trying to create a conducive environment, enabling level playing field for all and encouraging competition instead of protectionism and a closed approach that was perhaps required when the industry was at its nascent stage of development. Now, let me draw your kind attention to some of the latest challenges and the facilitations that has been brought about in the regulatory environment. The first and foremost is to facilitate ease in entry into the sector. In other words, how can a new player who wants to set up an insurance company can get its registration or license to operate easily and in a time-bound manner. So that is what we have done to facilitate this entry by extending a red carpet welcome to any investor, be it global investor, a domestic investor, or anybody for that matter. Ease of raising capital. Now, apart from the equity, there is a need to also raise capital for growth or for other requirements to maintain its solvency and so on and so forth. So there has been a lot of ease done to raise capital from the market, which we call the other forms of capital. Flexibility in business operations, free hand for spending by the insurer. Of course, the spending has to be within the ambit of a oversight by the board or a board level policy, but a complete flexibility in business operations are proposed to be given to the insurance companies in the next maybe a month or so. Focus on how to lessen the cost of intermediation. I think the cost of intermediation in our country is very high, be it the banking or insurance. How do we bring it down? We can only bring it down when we take the help of technology, better distribution models, more efficient ones, and use of data in order to, even go for more of a personalized pricing of premium, and and also use of technology and data for a speedier claim settlement, thus providing a delightful journey to the customer in its journey of the entire life cycle of insurance. Now, next, we have to work on how we can give wider choice to the customers. What we have done is today moved from the use and file towards the use and file from the earlier file and use. Next, we are contemplating very soon the open architecture in distribution channels, thereby encouraging more competition. Reducing the compliance burden has been our focus, and a lot of things have been done in this regard by removing a lot of returns which were earlier being filed and which was thought was not of much value addition. So they have been removed. The frequency in which they had to file returns has also been increased. And all in all, what we are trying to approach towards is from a rule-based regime to a principle-based regime of regulations. So the regulations become very light. There will be a few regulations to govern the entire sector and a few master circulars which will be helping the industry in the form of a guidance document. The next important one which I would like to highlight is the issue of public listings. Now, public listings is what we are nudging the companies, the insurance companies, to go towards. And what it does, public listing, it will improve corporate valuations, it will bring in transparency, and even it may accelerate M&A, mergers and acquisition activities in the sector. Indian industry, the insurance industry, is at the forefront of digitalization. I mean, this goes beyond telematics and customer risk assessment. We are now embarking upon, with the help of the industry and other stakeholders, to create a digital platform which is called Bhima Sugam. Now, this should be a game changer to my mind. A one-stop shop for selling, for servicing, and for settlement of claims. It will be a plug-and-play, unique API system where the intermediaries or the distribution channels, the industry, and various other data stacks will get connected. We are expecting this to facilitate the customer in terms of a very, very seamless and a very, very comfortable end-to-end digital journey, right from the time he enters into the portal till he buys his product and gets his policy, which is either pushed to the repository or to his DigiLocker, or in case he or she wants a physical copy, it can be downloaded, and a printable one. So the Bhima Sugam for selling, for servicing, and for settlement of claims, and also thereafter the follow-up of the persistency, etc. Everything could be achieved, accomplished with the help of this platform. And I'm pleased to say that there has been tremendous interest which is being shown both by the industry as well as the intermediaries and other stakeholders concerned. So we should all really work towards this, creating this platform at the earliest for the convenience of our customers, and also to enhance the insurance penetration, and also times to come to also think about how do we enhance the insurance density. More than 300 insurance technology startups, insurtech startups, are also working in this ecosystem. We are also trying to mainstream them with the help of the regulatory sandbox mechanism. A hackathon is also underway. So insurtech is something, again, at the core of the regulator's frame of things. Now, as the young students are ready to enter the insurance sector, and also the middle and senior executives already working in the sector at various roles, I would like to highlight the focus areas where we all need to think, brainstorm, and come out with the innovative and progressive solutions in order to have a fully insured India. Your contribution in various capacities in the sector is pivotal for the growth and development of the sectors. Some of the thoughts for you to deliberate is insurance awareness, still a push product. There is lack of understanding. People are underinsured. And last but not the least, change in the mindset is required. COVID has helped, but we need to do much more. Bring awareness, insurance as a tool for protection, which is savings, risk transfer, sharing of financial burden, etc. Can we inculcate the habit of seeking insurance whenever we are buying anything, be it a house or a vehicle or other valuable things? Can we think of having, going into the rural areas, organizing skits, nukkad nataks, Olympiads around insurance? I mean, it's a realm of possibility that everything should be done that will actually enhance the insurance awareness, and people will realize the importance of insurance as a product. I'm curious to know about the research projects that are being undertaken by the various institutions, including NIA. I would encourage the scholars to work on various areas and also give us the useful insights that you feel will help in shaping this sector and taking it forward. In fact, it can provide also a good platform for the insurance ecosystem as a whole, and we can work together towards achieving the objective of reaching the last mile. Now, the next, product simplification and innovation. Now, how do we go for more of, where currently, if you look at the policy, the terms of conditions are very, very complicated. For a common man to understand, I think it's beyond. How do we come up with a policy document, the terms and conditions, which are easy to comprehend by the common man? There should be a clear definition of which are the coverages, which are the exclusions. I think if we eventually move to more of parametric covers, then I think the citizen or the policyholder at the end of the day will be a more delighted one that whatever is promised at the end of the day, they get that money if an event occurs. Tech-based coverages, how can we go towards that? Region-specific covers. Today, one size fit all is not the answer. Within the country, we have different regions, we have different cultures, and everybody has a different requirement. There are terrains which are very difficult that may have a different requirement, vulnerable areas where there's a climate risk, they may require different kind of risk coverages. So we have to constantly look at the needs of the people. Again, these institutions should undertake these kind of studies in specific geographies and give useful inputs both to the industry as well as the regulator for us also to make our regulations dynamic with the needs of the hour. Special covers for senior citizen. How can we go for the senior? If they beyond 80 or 85, we are not going to cover. Where do they go? We should think about coming with special covers for the senior citizen. Even pre-existing diseases should not be an exclusion. We should find ways and means to also get them covered. And more importantly, I think the most one is how do we take care of the out-of-pocket expenses? I'm glad that a few insurance companies have already filed their application for addressing the out-of-pocket expenses with the help of technological tools in order to mitigate any fraud that could happen as a result of these kind of covers. But I would appeal and request the industry leaders who are sitting here today to also give a thought to the out-of-pocket expenses today, which is around 60% or even a little more than 60%. How can we provide an insurance cover which is affordable and which is simple and straight for the citizens of a country, particularly those who are at the bottom of the pyramid in terms of their development? Seamless onboarding of customers, use of artificial intelligence and blockchain, that could help us in innovative and simpler products. Hackathon, as I said, is being conducted at the IRDAI. How to make the products more affordable and easily understandable. How to ensure that buying process is simpler. What can be done for the imminent challenges like climate risk, cybersecurity risks, pandemics, and catastrophes, etc. Are we ready? Do we have products to provide coverage for these bigger challenges? So these are the things I think you need to really introspect. Improvement in claims experience, that should become a moment of truth. Focus on positive claim experience, enhanced customer trust and confidence, time-bound disposal, use of digital technologies like geospatial technology, AI, ML, computer vision, and satellite-based image analysis, particularly for the crops. Then how do we build the customer confidence into insurance? See, one experience goes bad, then the customer never comes back into insurance. How do we avoid that? Can we think of lesser TOTs for claim settlement process? Can we think of how we can lessen the burden, the financial burden, particularly the stress of claimants, particularly in death claims and health insurance claims? The distribution channels also are something we need to transform them from the existing to becoming more and more focused on digital. That would enhance the distribution efficiencies. The architecture is being opened up, but then the channels will have to move towards more of digital distribution rather than purely physical. It has to be maybe a mix of both physical and digital, maybe physical and more of digital, and that is where eventually we should move towards a fully digital system. We have to go beyond the traditional channels. If there is a need for setting up or establishing a new channel, so be it, if that becomes more efficient and the reach is better. Changing demand pattern, pandemic related shift in demand patterns, then there is rising awareness and need recognition. So shifting in focus now from secondary to primary, facilitated by the increased disposable income. So how do we make use of an integrated technological architecture using the existing infrastructure? For example, the NBFCs, the MFIs, the NGOs, the banking network, the postal network. Why are we not looking at this entire infrastructure of ecosystem which can be, integrated in a manner where we are able to distribute even faster and more efficiently? Mobile-based digital applications to attract the millennial and the younger customers is something I think all the insurers will have to move very quickly and provide them the services and the products that they require. We are even contemplating now to create a women-centric force called the Bhima Vahak. This will be something similar to the banking correspondent, but they will be fully, again, this Bhima Vahak, the women-centric force, completely tech-enabled, and they will have to, go to the rural areas, to the semi-urban areas, and also within the urban areas, the pockets where a lot of migrant labor and the gig workers live. We talked about, I think, mentioned about, the regulator moving towards the risk-based capital regime. Yes, work is on, and the industry is also being closely associated in creating a risk-based capital regime, which I am sure as we go along will become a more capital efficient regime. We are also want to move from the compliance-based supervision framework to a risk-based supervision framework. Work has already started. We are engaging with various knowledge partners, both domestically and internationally, and hope to put them also in place in the near future. The third major mission mode program, which is on at the IRDAI, is also to move towards the IFRS Ind AS regime, and work is also in progress in close coordination with the industry and other stakeholders. So these are some of the new initiatives that we have now fast-tracked, and we are calling them the mission mode programs. Now, the next point I'd like to touch upon is to reach the last mile. We actually need to go to the last mile. Sitting here in Mumbai or in Hyderabad or in Delhi, you really are not reaching the last mile. So I think we need to move out, and we need to move out to the field in order to understand where is the problem and how it can be mitigated. We really need to build a very strong distribution force that has the trust of the local population. And that's where the Bhima Vahak, the women or the girl or the boy from the community, is the one who will go and sell them insurance as a product for their financial and social protection. How to ensure that there are products available for each segment and that the right product reaches the right person. And as I said, the one size fit all may not be the order of the day. We have to move away from that. What is a mechanism to understand the peculiar needs of the last mile? Presence in the rural and semi-urban areas. How many surveys, how many seminars have been conducted? I think all the academic institutions, the industry, the distribution channels, along with the regulators, we all need to really work on this particular issue. What is being done of the feedback? Is the feedback being passed on to the intermediaries? How often do the insurers interact with the intermediaries? I think there is a need to really interact and understand where are the problems, which are the gaps, and how do we address it. Here at IRDA, we have started this process now, a regular one of having a bi-monthly meeting with the industry and other stakeholders. We have an open house of every 15th of every month. So we are trying to be accessible as much as possible. And then, of course, anybody can walk in during the open house or otherwise seek a time and come and meet the officers here at IRDA. I think the industry also need to engage with their own channels of distribution and find out where is the problem, where is the issue that is impeding the growth, and bring about more distribution efficiencies. In order to address the policyholders' interest, now two great initiatives that with the help of the industry and stakeholders, which we are trying to take care of. Before that, the 3 A's which we are trying to address is awareness, accessibility, and affordability. We are trying to bridge the protection gap, that means adequate covers for all. The Bhima Sugam, a one-stop solution, a marketplace. Then the Bhima Bharosa. The Bhima Bharosa is nothing but a revamped grievance portal, which was known as the IGMS. This will be a multilingual portal embedded with data and analytical tools. I think this should also repose the trust and faith of insurance as a product in trying to address their grievance as and when the policyholder faces a problem through the Bhima Bharosa will reinforce their faith and trust. The ultimate test of insurance is also availability of the right products to the right person, the timely settlement of claims, and the effective redressal of grievances. Now, how do we ensure that there are minimum grievances of the policyholders? And in case there is any reported, so what has been done to address it? What is the escalation matrix? Do you have an insurance internal ombudsman kind of a mechanism to address the policyholders' grievances? So what more can be done to educate the policyholders of their rights? I mean, these are the issues I would like to throw open in the summit, both for the academia, for the industry, and for the other stakeholders. So this is something, and I would like to come to the conclusion by saying that the role of insurance, beyond providing financial protection to more of comprehensive social protection, that is to protect most vulnerable and act as a safety net. The second important one is the tool, the insurance for economic development and nation building. See, the insurance fund, which is we call as the assets under management, which today is around 54 lakh crores, this provides financial stability to the markets, and it rationalizes the use of funds in different channels or in different segments of the economy. Insurance for all doesn't have to remain a distant dream. It will actually, we will achieve our target by 2047 if we focus on leveraging technology, building care networks, offering universal insurance, promoting insurance awareness, building innovative need-based parametric products, innovative add-ons covering out-of-pocket expenses, ensuring affordable pricing, relooking at the age restrictions, and enhancing distribution efficiencies. We are in this together, and we have to join hands and together walk forward in achieving the objective of insurance for all. I wish the program a huge success and request all the participants to take active interest in the panel discussions and various presentations that will be made during the course of the day. The topic chosen for the discussion are very relevant for the changing focus of the insurance industry, and I am hopeful a lot of meaningful insights will come out of the discussions to take the sector forward. The deliberations should not restrict just to the summit itself, but must continue beyond. I also request the National Insurance Academy to revisit the course curriculum of the courses run by it and include a lot of industry-oriented research, trainings, internships to make our students future ready. The young scholars and students have a major role to play in changing the face of insurance, and I want to specially congratulate the student at the National Insurance Academy for organizing the summit and the faculty and the management of NIA for providing continuous encouragement, guidance, and support to the students. Thank you very much for your patient hearing and wish you all the best. Thank you.
So thank you very much for such an extremely insightful and encouraging talk and for providing valuable direction to all of us.